Order. Are we going to do town business first, or? Okay. Oh, we're here today. The board has decided to bring Chief Mitchell back. We've been talking to the command staff since 4:30. We're looking forward to working with him and you and the department in a whole to start the healing process. The board understands and recognizes a lot of things have gone wrong, and we are here today to discuss the situation and indicate to you that Chief Mitchell will be coming back September 10th, which is next Monday, and there are steps in place to bring him back. I'm going to turn it over now to your liaison so he can speak, and then I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Sexton, and also he'll have words, hopefully of enlightenment. Go for it.
Okay. I don't recognize a lot of you out there, and I'm sorry, but I've only been your liaison since June, because I was newly elected this year. Hopefully I can get to see you more often, but unfortunately your training days are scheduled the first and third Monday. And where am I sitting the first and third Monday? Right here. So hopefully as you get more training dates that come open, I've already asked for a schedule before, and when I get that, I'll be by to see what you're doing, because I am not a firefighter. But I do have an appreciation of what you do, since I'm retired from the military, and I know you're a basic paramilitary type organization, and I do know for the call force that you're pretty much a volunteer, and this is going to be my 40th year in the National Ski Patrol. So I know what it's like to call up and come in and not get a whole lot out of it except the pride for what you do. So I do understand that. And as what Mr. Chinaki says, we have the final report back from the labor attorney about the situation at the fire department. And I actually have mixed reviews about the whole thing. The board and the town administrator, we have followed the line of not releasing any documents as required by state law and the collective bargaining agreement. Now, we all know in here, stuff has been leaked from the press by whoever. It doesn't matter from labor, management, whoever. But I can tell you from the board, we didn't release a thing until tonight. Tonight, it's all being released. Everything, the report, everything sent to us is all public available. Mr. Randall up front, he already has a copy of it, and more copies can be had upon request. Within this report, as Mr. Chinaki says, Chief Mitchell will be coming back. Chief Mitchell's coming back in two major statements in this report from the labor attorney. There are no grounds to terminate him. They are not sufficient enough to terminate him. So the town legally cannot terminate him without facing a lawsuit. There are issues in this report that concern Chief Mitchell and other people that are going to be addressed. I can tell you that Chief Mitchell's contract with the town is going to be amended. It's going to be amended based upon the issues the labor attorney found out. And Chief Mitchell, and I will turn it over to Mr. Martin when we get to that part, is going to be responsible for meeting those benchmarks and the requirements that are going to be amended in his contract. Now, with that being said, I want everybody, particularly the call force, to understand we have three basic grievance processes in the written form. Chief Mitchell has his by contract. The labor or excuse me, union people have theirs by bargaining agreement. Everybody else that's at will, in other words, you're not under contract, you also have a grievance process through the town. And part of the process that we use on collecting information was a meeting between Mr. Martin, Mr. Randall, and myself. And one of the things that came up that we discovered, that the call force never received a packet of a town employee to know what your benefits and everything is. And that's one of the things that's going to be changed, now that we know it. If we didn't know it, we didn't do it. We did find that out. So within this entire document, as I stated, everything is being released. Now, we've already had a discussion and a two-way communication with your leadership team. They understand what's going on completely. Now, we want to give it to you, the call force, everybody, the whole fire team. And as I stated, things were leaked by portions of labor and probably portions of management in the fire department to the press. It was nothing by the town, because we're here to protect the town, both from lawsuits from labor and lawsuits from management. So all that stuff that was leaked to the press that created all this bad stuff about Granby, to me, it was useless. It was a waste of time, because all of it's not true. Because all of it's not based on fact, on both sides of the fence. You people have a grievance process in writing if you choose to use it and keep yourself to yourself. You also have a chain of command within your fire department, which you can go through to get the word all the way through the select board. There are avenues to do your issues.
Jay,
Yes.
I want to clear something up.
Sure, Glenn.
You said all of the bad things we said about Granby?
No, I said what the newspaper
Okay, I
said.
want to be clear.
Right.
Everything we said badly was about Mitchell specifically, not about the town, not against the town.
Okay, then I misspoke. All I was trying to get at was,
These people right here love this town, and they wouldn't be here and doing this job, what we do.
we
I
do
want to
too.
make sure that we clear that up, okay?
If I
Our
misspoke,
problem is one person specifically, and that was it.
whatever was released to the press, we all know they don't get 100% right. Will we agree on that part?
I agree to that, but I'm not
Okay.
going to agree to us saying anything bad, anything slanderous against.
I didn't think I said that. I said was things were put out to the press that were not completely factual. That is what I meant, on both sides of the fence. Whether it was the chief's letter or whether it was other stuff that was put out, it was not all factual. But it led to the sight of Granby looked in the wrong way. And I don't think that was good. There are avenues to communicate, that's what I was trying to get at, both written and oral. And I think we should go forth and use that. And as I stated, these documents are all now considered public, and Mr. Randall already has a hard copy of himself from when we had the officers meeting. Now, within this, as I stated, the chief's contract's going to be amended. There's also going to be some other things, which is pointed out in this report, that we are going to address. And not all at once. Part of this is going to be, as they call, the healing process. I will state just two things before I turn it over to Mr. Martin to get into specifics. When Chief Mitchell comes back, there's going to be two things. There's going to be a mentor working with him from the Fire Chiefs Association, and there's also going to be a mediator coming in for the entire department to bring the teamwork back the way it should be. Just like in the military, just like in the fire department. In the military, we watch each other's back. In the fire department, you guys watch each other's back, particularly when you go into a burning fire. This has got to be a team function. And that is what we are trying to do. Now, do you want to expound like you did before, Chris, with the team leaders, or what? Let's go ahead and speak first. Okay.
Hey, just first of all, just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It definitely means, I know it means a lot to us. that you're taking the time out of your busy schedule to actually come here. And really what we want is not just to tell you about what's going to happen in the fire department moving forward, but we also want input from all of you. And I know, as Jay was talking, and looking around the room, I did see some concerns, if you will, on people's faces about what was being said. And as a board, we made the decision to continue to have Chief Mitchell in our town at this point. And moving forward, as we talked about too, there are stipulations that Jay spoke about with his contract and so on and so forth. But we, as a board, we need to try to figure out a way to put the fire department, if you will, back together. And I mean that in the most respectful way. And meaning that, you know, there's a lot of people that were upset. A lot of people are upset for good reasons, without a doubt. And, you know, by all means, we heard those reasons. And a lot of them we heard loud and clear. Before a lot of you came in this evening, we met with the leadership team. And a lot of thoughts and concerns were voiced, again, that we take strongly and want to listen to what's being said. And as much as that, we want to hear from all of you as well. Moving forward, and I can say from, you know, our discussions with the chief, from the document Mr. Joyce has been speaking about, it's not going to be easy, and no one's saying that. But I'm hoping as a department that we can move forward for the town. And I speak of that not as someone that's sitting on a select board, but as a resident. Because I think, you know, the fire department is a big part of our town. And I do want to speak to, you know, really to all of you, that how much speaking for myself, admire the job that you do. And we don't sit up here and think that we have all the answers, because we don't. A lot of concerns came out in regards to what was happening in the department, and a lot of those had to do with Chief Mitchell, without a doubt. But on both sides, there's some concerns. So what we're trying to do is figure out a way that we can make things work and move forward. And most of all is being a professional department and everybody working together and figure out the best way, the best solution to do that moving forward. And we're asking for your help, and we're asking for your input. Because, you know, we had to make a decision whether or not what we were going to do with Chief Mitchell at this point. So we talked about it, we discussed it, we looked at the reports that were given, we spoke to Chief Mitchell, and we thought that we came up with the best decision that we could at this point. Not to say that moving forward, other actions can't be taken, but just where we are at this point in time, the decisions that have been made, we're hoping that we can work together as a department with Chief Mitchell, leadership, and the rank and file, if you will, to move forward together as a department, as a professional department, and try to make things work. I know from listening to a lot of things that have been said and stuff like that, and I spoke about it earlier. To me, there is no excuse for someone to bring a personal attack into something. If someone wants to talk about someone's performance, someone's job performance that they don't feel is adequate, and there's facts backing it up, I'm with you all day. But when people start attacking people personally, there's no reason for that. And I know that happened. And I know that happened to the person on the department. And to me, that was really upsetting and frustrating. So, as I said, you know, us moving forward together with the fire department and trying to put everything back together, it's not going to be any easy task. and we know that. But as I said, we're looking for your help, your support, your suggestions, and try to make that work. And whatever actions that we need to take together to make this work, we're going to take it. Because the bottom line is that we want this to be a department that is proud of each other, which I know they are, but also moving forward, that when you go to work, you want to be there. You're happy to be there. You're not worried about someone, what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to happen next week. I want people to, you're giving up your time to go to work, if you will, to be a firefighter, as far as being a call force. And that gains a lot of respect from me and from the rest of the board. And that's why, as I said, it's that your thoughts, your suggestions right now are going to play a lot of what our decisions are moving forward. But we also want everybody to try to work together as a team. And that's our best thing, is to work together as a team. And as I said, at this point in time, these are decisions that we made, and we think that it's a correct decision, wrong or right. It's the decision that we thought was the best decision at this time. And again, moving forward, if steps need to be taken, actions need to be taken, that's what we'll do. Because our ultimate goal is what? Is what we do for the town. And that's our concern. So as I said earlier, and I know I said it several times, I hope that people feel comfortable enough to speak your mind, tell us what your concerns are, your thoughts are. And I know sometimes when the camera's on, it's a little difficult. But believe me, we want to, anything they have to say, we want to hear it. We want to do our best to work and make this a place that you feel when you go into the firehouse that this is a good place. You feel comfortable. You want to do what you want to do.
Glenn, so you three individuals made the decision, or you four individuals?
Us three.
You three. And was there a vote involved?
Yes.
And was that unanimous?
No. It was not.
So you three made the decision, the majority ruled to keep you.
Yes. Well said, Steve. Thank you.
I'm hoping at this particular time, the board's decision, and it's not like we're all indicating, this is not going to be an easy task, but we as a board, and Mr. Martin, are a team that are committed to moving forward in a positive manner. We can turn around and dwell on the past and have a lot of bitterness. I understand that. And it'll be easy moving forward, as we've already indicated to the command staff, that we respect not only them, but everybody here, very much so. We have a lot of respect for you. This town has a lot of respect for you. It's amazing, when you push, like I indicated already, you press 911, and I can't tell you, the ambulance is there in 2 seconds. It feels like 2 seconds to me. There's a fire. I don't know if we've been losing a lot of sellers or not, but I know for a fact that when you go into a burning building, it's not funny. And it takes a lot of professionalism to do that. And we respect each and every one of you. And we as a board, and Mr. Martin, expect to have everybody respected in that professional manner. And like we already are saying, it's 2 to tango. Not all him, not all you. But we definitely have to bring this healing process to a start. And we have to start, and we're implementing certain situations that we've already talked about to the command staff, what is expected of him. And we're not going to tolerate that situation. We're implementing 90, 120, 180 days, and we'll be reviewing situations and seeing that he is fulfilling his benchmarks that we're setting. And we're all hoping that this is the beginning of a much more positive relationship in the department.
Is the amended contract going to be available to the members?
That is personal. We're not, that is something with the town and him, it's personal. We're not really allowed to.
Conditions of employment?
Conditions of employment, we really can't discuss that in a contract to the public at this particular time. We're still working on benchmarks that are going to be fulfilled. Right now, we are.
Do an awful lot of us have to fear for retaliation or walk on
Absolutely not.
eggshells?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're making ourselves, including Mr. Martin, that if you have a problem, you can go to your command staff. You're going to follow protocol, and if there's something, there's nothing you should be fearing of at
I got
all.
close to 40 years on the job here.
No, we're
I
not.
don't want to be shown the door.
No, you're not. Nobody is. Nobody is.
One of the amendments of his contract is he is not allowed to terminate or do anything with anybody without, as a minimum, going to Mr. Martin and myself. We are taking a lot of the strong chiefs, as you call it, rights, and we're putting them in amendments in his contract. So we know, as a board, and the town administrator knows, as the everyday responsible person, what is going on. So you don't have to worry about somebody coming in there and just tearing it apart, because that is not our intention. Our intention is to rebuild it, put it back. It's been a great fire department when Todd was in here for 80 years. I don't see why it shouldn't be great for another 80 years. But we are limited in what we can do to a certain degree, but we are going to do everything within our power to represent everybody equally. So nobody has to worry about any type of retaliation at all. Does that help?
Yeah.
The funny thing is the morale and the way the fire department was, you know, for my first many years on the force, is back to where it is now.
Mm-hmm. And we hope it stays that way.
But let me be clear,
Okay.
since Mitchell's left, that's the only thing that's
Yeah.
changed. Okay, but
Morale has come up.
morale has come up,
Yeah.
guys are back into it, and it's all because everybody's breathing a sigh of relief because he's not around.
Well, that's
Just
one.
saying, everybody's talking about bringing it back to where it was. It's there now.
That's one reason we talk to your officer staff first. So we could tell them, and they were telling us too. I mean, there's notes on both sides of the table. As Mr. Chinaki said, we're still in the process of building those benchmarks that the chief has to meet. And guess what? Some of them have come from suggestion from your leaders.
Will that be in place before he starts again on the 10th? Benchmark?
Should be.
It will be?
Yes.
It will be.
Yeah, because we'll,
Otherwise, how do you measure?
It's going to be.
it's going to be in place, but right now it's not 100% in place because, again, we didn't feel it was right to put anything in place to after talking to all of you out of just respect. So if something comes up, don't be afraid to speak up. And that's why in the beginning, I wanted to make it clear that you have two avenues of communication. One in writing, which nobody sees except follows a grievance chain, and another oral through your regular chain of command. That's what I was trying to make clear.
One concern that I have is twofold.
Okay.
Being the outside paramedic who comes into town and serves your town, my biggest concern is not with more the morale, it's with an aspect that I brought up in the investigation, and it's patient care. I'm not a firefighter. I report to Mike Pandora as a EMS provider.
Okay.
And I had an incident with him where he got on the ambulance and started screaming at my patient. Where's the checks and balances going to be for that? Because on scene, it's with me. As a paramedic, I outrank him as a provider.
Yes, I understand, because I was a
So I
paramedic
would
too.
leave him and ask him to leave my ambulance, or our ambulance, at that time, because within protocol in the state of Massachusetts, I'm allowed to do that.
Yep, yes, you are.
Where is my backfall gonna be? If I go to Mike, is Mike gonna be supported on this? Because Mike is my chain of command.
Am I not right or wrong? And again, I don't know everything, George. I don't, on the run sheet, is there a place for comments that people can make on situations that
No,
happen?
sir, that situation has to be handled away from our run sheet.
Well, I'm just asking, because I don't know 100%.
No,
That's
that's
maybe
all
you gotta
about
ask.
patient care,
Okay.
not about issues with staff.
Where can his concern be documented today? Is there an avenue?
On a separate piece of paper or email?
To answer your question, yes. Yes, that will be dealt with.
I mean, that kind of behavior has to be dealt with swiftly,
And,
because that'll get you guys sued.
and before, as we were meeting with the leadership team for the fire department, that's one thing that we did talk about, was that when something comes up, we want it dealt with immediately. Speaking out to your supervisors, Chris's cell phone was given to them, number, so he's available any time of the day to discuss things that come up. And as I spoke earlier, I'm hoping moving forward that those type of things don't happen. And when I say I hope they don't happen, I'm hoping that they don't happen, because if they do happen, then there's concerns that I have and actions will be taken. Because I can speak that a lot of things that I heard, and I was, not just as a resident of Granby, but also sitting here on the select board, how upset I was that a year and a half into a contract with a department head that we hired, we're having so many issues and problems. But we also have to look at how do we protect the town moving forward as well.
So you gotta know, as EMS providers, you look at things a little differently than firefighters do. It's not downgrading what our fire department do, okay? But there's a lot of liability involved in what we do, especially at the paramedic level. Okay, we have to protect
Yes.
the town, we have to protect the patient, we have to protect a lot of instances in our training. And in 20 years of doing this, that's the first time I've ever seen a chief officer get on an ambulance and scream at a patient. 20 years, I have never seen something that unprofessional. And that makes me nervous. Because he, ultimately at the end of the call, he's not responsible, I am. And I can be sued.
And I agree with you saying, and that's why I was saying, those type of situations moving forward are not going to be tolerated at all. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that changes are going to happen. We expect changes to happen. And if they don't, as a board, we'll take actions as followed. And that's why, as far as this contract, stipulations have been put in place for a lot of these reasons, a lot of these concerns that have come up. But I also believe that sometimes you give someone a second chance, if you will, and that's where we are at this point. And can someone change? Well, I'm hoping that someone takes the training and the leadership and understanding that feedback, professional feedback that he'll get to change that department and make the department what the department themselves, as you do, that one you feel good about. Someone mentioned, going to work right now, how good it feels. Well, that's what I'm striving for the department, that you feel that moving forward. And if down the road we need to take different actions, different steps, we will, because that's where we want to get to.
The second part of my situation is I drive 40 minutes to come here. I enjoy this department. But I want to see that the officers are respected in the way that they need to, because each and every one of them, including the EMS coordinator, it's been an honor to serve under them. And the disrespect that I have watching, because I'm a military man too, sir.
Yeah.
And the disrespect that I've seen all these officers take over the past year has been unacceptable. It wouldn't happen in the military.
It will not happen anymore.
Okay.
If it happens,
My only
it'll
concern
be
then.
dealt with accordingly.
And swiftly is what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for as well. But we have certain rules and regulations we have to follow. Just like I was a paramedic. I was in the first class out of UMass Worcester back in 1982, I think it was.
And you understand what it causes for
Yes,
paramedics.
I completely understand.
That's all I
So,
wanted to get across.
right, and I appreciate your comment. But right now, I am not a firefighter, so I don't know what policies and procedures they have in place. I'm going to start learning them because I just became their department liaison recently, but I have not been involved with that before. So I am going to start learning that stuff with them. And as we talk with the leadership team from the fire department, we're giving you 2 avenues of communication. If you require additional avenues of communication, we'll work it out and make it happen. We have no problem. I love open communication, because that way you got 2 people talking together, because not everybody knows everything. We both know that from the field, and we've seen different techniques to complete the same objective, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Steve, there's someone in the back there. I don't know if you can see him or not.
Thank you. If I may, just for appreciate it. My name is Tim Leary. Been on the call department for about probably 8 or 9 months. I'm a 20-year career firefighter, EMT for the city of Holyoke. I have extensive labor management negotiation experience. With that said, if I may make a suggestion to the board and the chief officers of the Green Fire Department, that we should come up with a departmental report form that every employee has access to fill out and cover themselves in case there's an issue, an official Green Fire Department document, because that makes it a legal document. It can't be tampered with. Maybe then it can be converted to PDF, emailed to the department liaison, so the select board has full access to information as it's happening. And then it'll cover everything across the board for the firefighter, the EMS, or whatever the case is. Also, if I may, just to kind of set the tone a little bit, and I know there's a lot of, I'm not aware of all the complaints that did file, sit down with the attorney and make a statement with the attorney prior. But I can tell you, I've served under, this is my 4th chief in the city of Holyoke, and I've dealt with 3 chiefs on professional and a union level. And the one common denominator across the board is that once that command level of trust is severed, it is impossible to get back, no matter what you do. You can't walk in eggshells, you can't repair it, it's done. So you have a monumental task in front of you, and I see that you're walking blindly through this, and I don't mean that as a criticism. I mean, I applaud your willingness to not terminate an employee, but at the end of the day, especially with the call force firefighters and EMS providers here, they make up the bulk of this department. And we've already lost people at what I felt to be an alarming rate. You can't do that. It's hard enough to recruit here as it is. So the only way you can make people, I don't want to interject on that. That's where I stand right now. I do have one question. I'll wait for the appropriate time if the town manager addresses.
Now, I just have a follow-up with you. I'm not a person that likes to recreate the wheel. Since you're coming off the Holyoke Fire Department, do they have that type of form?
We do.
Could you get a copy for us?
I can
What
ask
other
them.
questions? You said,
But you know what I'm trying to say. Electronically, if possible. If it's not hard copy, then we'll deal with it. But we want to do what's best. And if somebody else has the best practice, we'll by all means consider using it. That help?
What the mentor position, what does that look like?
There's going to be a mentor, which I'll let Mr. Martin expose it. We're going to be meeting with a mentor on Thursday afternoon for Chief Mitchell. In addition to the mentor, the town is hiring a mediator to build a strategic, constructive teamwork, strategic plan back into place. So everybody can talk freely and work to get the whole team put back together. There will be a mediator as well as a mentor. There'll be both.
Is that mediator going to be Jack Collins?
I don't know who. Somebody the fire department recommends as a mediator.
Fire Chiefs Association.
Fire Chiefs Association recommends.
It will not be Jack Collins.
You heard Mr. Martin, so. Again, I haven't met with him yet. I'll be meeting with him Thursday with Mr. Martin. That'll be my first time. So, I mean, I've got a task ahead of myself to learn. I mean, I just got elected here this year, just got appointed to this position of the fire department in June, and this stuff has existed well before I was elected. but I'm going to take on the task.
You've had FCAM involved in this?
Yes.
I more of a clarification question, just to make sure I heard right. Mr. Joyce, you said that one of the amendments to Chief Mitchell's contract was that he would not be able to terminate anyone unless going through you and Mr. Martin?
That is correct. That
My
was
other
one.
question is, why aren't the other members of the board involved in that process?
Well, for one thing, to get us, more than one of us involved, we have to post a public meeting. Believe it or not, because of Massachusetts general open meeting laws. So if two of us was to show up at the firehouse to attend one of your meetings, we'd have to post a public meeting that we were going to be there. So that is why I've been appointed the fire department's liaison officer. Mr. Martin is the town administrator and will be showing up. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to answer that question, it does not mean that the other two board members would not have a say in it. It's just as it starts off the, if that does happen, there's going to be a protocol put in place, as Mr. Joyce spoke to, notifying him, and also Mr. Martin as being the town administrator, and also the chief's supervisor.
The way the liaison policy of Granby works, if Mr. Martin isn't available and somebody contacts me, I will look at the issue, and if it deems the responsibility has to be addressed before Mr. Martin is available, I will call a special meeting of the select board as a special meeting for health and safety reasons, and then we will address it and then inform Mr. Martin what we did when he returns. So it's not like we're waiting on him all the time, if that helps you. Well, that's what the policy says, right? You gave it to me to read. I read it.
Can you describe the mechanism that's in place? I know that you mentioned certain benchmarks that they'll meet. If at some point in the future, past these benchmarks, there's another incident, especially if it's severe enough, is he in essence building a clean slate and we go through this whole process all over again? Or are there some points that may be critical enough that we say, or you say, that's it, and we...
Well, it depends on the circumstances. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm hoping there's no more issues
that have arisen in the past. Hopefully that's going to be, those benchmarks are going to be clearly set and things will not be done. And we are determined not to permit, if certain things do occur, we're sitting as a board and we're determining situations. But are they going to be publicized, those benchmarks? No. They're in a contract with the town, with him.
And that's private, correct?
Yes, that is private.
So one of the things that came out of our meeting was, and it was pretty effective, was the board stated to us that they recognize part of the reason why we're here today is due to lack of communication and lack of response. And they're assuring us that if things are happening and they're not going the way that they see, we're not going to get to the point where it's a total meltdown before something gets done. That's our goal. So if you guys got issues, bring them to us so we can make sure they get addressed. Don't wait for them to get out of hand and everybody starts talking about it and everything gets blown out of proportion. If we keep open the line of communication, we can keep everything, we can address the issues as they arise, and we can move forward. If we don't keep open the line of communication, we're not going to be able to bring this thing and make it work.
That's why in the beginning, when I opened this up, I explained the difference of fact versus what was in the news, and I also explained your different avenues of communicating to us, both in writing and verbally, because we want more communication so we can handle it in a timely manner. We don't want it to fester. We want to address the issues. But if we do not know the issues and they are within 2, 3, 4 of you guys, how can we address something we don't know? That's the hard part. And I think you ask your leadership team up front, we had a pretty blunt conversation about that before you arrived.
Can we speak to that?
Sure you could, I just,
For instance, I don't mean to put you in this spot, but
I'll be happy to
George,
address
would
the
you
room
like
if you
to,
guys.
yeah,
Do I have your permission to
Yeah.
address this?
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's an open meeting, we have no problem, we're not hiding nothing.
So here's the scoop, guys. From a contract perspective, the town would be at risk if they terminated Mitchell. The investigation shows there's plenty of issues. So don't feel that your concerns were cast out. We've discussed that. We're opening up the conversation to put the plan together for us as department leaders to work with the board, to work with the liaison, and also partner with the chief to make sure that the town of Granby gets the services it needs. You guys have the easy job. You've always done the right thing for the town of Granby. The town of Granby respects each and every one of you and what you do at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. They know that you guys come out and do that work for the town. The board acknowledges that too. We've got the easy job. We continue to do what we've always done. Provide great service to the town of Granby, operate ethically, operate with integrity. That's the easy job. The hard job's for the officers and for Chief Mitchell, because we will have to bring this together and make it work. That's where the hard job's going to be. It's going to be at the leadership level to make sure that you guys are treated appropriately, that your concerns are heard by the board, by the town administrator. Concerns that I think you all acknowledge were never heard before. Well, now they have an openness to do that. So keep doing what you've always done, but let's take the opportunity that they've opened the door for us, and let's just show the town of Granby that we're going to keep doing what we've always done, providing the services we've always provided. And we'll use our chain of command to make sure that if things aren't going right with leadership in the department, in the direction of the department, in the way you're treated as people and as employees, these guys want to hear it and they're going to take action on it. So I feel good about where we're headed with this. I can't put that in any of your mouths. I can't change that feeling in your hearts and in your heads. But if you guys are going to double down your commitment and keep doing what you've always done, your leadership team met with this group earlier and I think they're as committed as ever.
I hope that helps you. Did I hear the question?
Current leadership team.
Who is your current leadership team?
Yes, please. I know what it was yesterday, what is it tomorrow?
Same.
Not changing.
It's the same as long as none of them decide to leave the department.
That was my next question, is not asking for names, but with the advent of Chief Mitchell coming back, do we now stand the risk of losing any more officers than we already have?
Not that I'm aware of.
We have asked the officers if they are going to leave to please let us know, so we know ahead of time. And none of them have verbally told us they were leaving, and we have asked them to give us something in writing so we know they are staying, so there's a concrete evidence that we know who is going to be the leadership. We can't do more than that than ask them. Any other questions or anything you want to bring out? If you got any suggestions, shoot.
Well, with that said, with the leadership of the command center, again, not being a firefighter, and being just a paramedic, the direction of my command is a little bit different. Mike Pandora is still the EMS director or coordinator.
As far as I know, he is, yes.
Okay.
Well, Chris and I had a conversation 3 weeks ago that we haven't gotten an answer on yet as to where things are going to stand.
Well, as I know, in this world, everything is subject to change, but as far as right now, too, nothing has been suggested to me that I know anything different.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Is Chief Mitchell willing in renegotiating this to have his contract amended?
Yes.
Does the board reserve the right to just amend it?
No, we sat him down and he agreed to everything.
All right. So if you're going to change strong chief language, my question is, and I'm asking just for clarification, please, isn't that a legislative process?
We are using this report that'll be made public of the deficiencies that were noted, and we're using them to create the benchmarks, the goals, whatever you want to call them, in the appendix of his contract, that if these things continue or they arise, it'll give the town more legal position to do what it has to.
So can every member of the department have one of those mailed to it once it's finalized? Or made available to it?
It's already been made available
Yeah.
to the deputy.
These are all, we have stated to the leadership team that every document that we have received from the firemen, the lawyers, or whatever, are going to be considered public documents, and they're available upon request. We are not hiding a thing. Everything is transparent. Mr. Randall already has a complete hard copy. Right, George?
Yes.
So what is the process to request a copy of that?
Just ask.
Just ask.
I would like a copy of it.
Well, I would prefer it to be an email, because I think it would be easier to list than just write it, or do you want to just have them write out a list, Chris? What do you want?
George could give them a,
Whatever, easier to do it.
whatever you.
If you want to go through your chain of command, write out a list, write an email, you know.
My chain of command being a full-time person is the fire chief on a daily basis.
Then you can send it to Dave Seifert tomorrow.
To George and then send it out to everyone.
Yeah.
George can forward it out in a PDF,
Yeah.
whatever, you know what I mean? And everybody will have it, if that's what it takes. Then
Yeah, that's
it's
done.
just a document.
Whatever it works for you guys. We're not trying to make any roadblocks. We're trying to open them.
We're not hiding anything. This whole report that was independent attorney,
Yeah.
as you guys already are aware, did the report.
And there's a whole bunch of attachments to it, let me tell you.
So,
Does every major decision he's made still stand?
He has,
Like purchasing apparatus and everything?
the purchasing apparatus is on hold, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it, Mr.?
At this point.
At this point in time, that is on hold.
Okay.
He didn't, so we're clear, he didn't make that purchase, the town did.
The voters.
The voters did for the town. He recommended something, and the town voters voted.
We were never asked our opinion on it. That's what I was getting at.
No, I understand that.
You know, we are the ones that work the trucks. We know what trucks we need and we know where we need them.
Absolutely.
That one little truck he wants to get, it might be all well and good, but you need it at the water hole to push major water. That's why I was asking, all decisions still stand.
But it's on hold, the town hasn't moved forward as of yet.
Okay,
So-
that's all I want then.
That doesn't mean we won't.
Right. I mean, it's been approved by
Right.
the town to purchase.
Well, it's not being purchased as of yet.
No.
The voters approved it.
Okay.
As elected official, even myself, or any other sports selectmen, if you went to the last special town meeting,
I work nights.
oh, okay. Well, we can only recommend to the voters, and depend if it's a 50% vote or a 2/3 vote, the voters make the decisions
Right.
in the town. It's not us. We just make recommendations.
But to answer your question, it is on hold right now.
Okay.
Will the town end up purchasing it? It's a possibility, but right now it's on hold.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody? I say, hey, we'll even take suggestions. We have no problem. You told the same thing to your leadership
if
team.
you think of something at a later date
Yeah.
that can be helpful, moving the town forward and the department forward, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for the same old, same old. What we're looking for is everybody, as the deputy chief indicated, moving this town forward in a positive way. And it's the town. And you guys do a phenomenal job. It's not as if you guys aren't recognized. And we do not want anybody being abused in this town at all.
Well, the only thing is, while he was here, we were losing guys at calls. When he was on administrative leave, everybody started coming back.
Hopefully, that will change.
We don't want that to go back to step one again.
No, that's why we're putting benchmarks in his.
Also, within that, you're gonna have to help us too.
Oh, I've been dedicated to this department since '79.
Well, I'm not saying you
Even
haven't.
during this whole process.
I mean-
If I'm available, I'm there.
Right, but all I'm saying is, we're having this conversation here now. When all of you walk out of here, you've got to make a decision if you're going to believe this is true and help us move forward, or you're going to sit in the sidelines and watch. We have no control what you do.
I'm still doing what I'm doing because I've only got 7.5 years left, and the county says I've always loved. I love what I do.
Okay.
Well, and really, we appreciate everybody's service to the town. I can't stress that enough. I would hope, and I don't know, you know, personally what the people that have gone through in the department with the chief, but I am asking, and for what it's worth, that you do stay on and let us get through the little humps and bumps that we got coming forward. By all means, I don't expect the same chief to walk in that door Monday morning, September 10th. There's changes that have been addressed, and there's changes that are going to happen. As simple as that. Because obviously going forward, these things are not going to stay the same, and they won't be accepted as well to stay the same.
Is he going to address the group?
He may want to.
But you haven't heard that from him?
I haven't heard that from him, but I would think so. I don't know that. I would think so. As the leader of the department, I would hope he want to address the troops, if you will. But again, like I said, you know, moving forward, I'm not expecting to have a lot of the problems, or if any of the problems that we've had so far. You know, and just kind of speaking out where, I think I said earlier, you know, for the town to be dealing with something like this, you know, where one of our department heads, chief administrator, if you will, of a department, a year and a half into contract is frustrating to me. It really is. And I can tell you, you know, sitting here for the past couple months, listening to reports being read and reviewing things, it was very upsetting. You know, and it is to the point, you know, to try to make things work. And there's a lot of, you know, issues and concerns that the board heard throughout this report, and we took it very seriously, without a doubt. But again, we need to look at taking actions what on both sides protects the town, but also looks at the out for the best interest of the fire department. You know, and I say it again, and I really do hope every one of you stay on and give us the opportunity to move forward. And it's not just up here, you know, if you will, giving lip service, because that's not what we're doing. We really want input. We really want to move forward. We want to make the department back to what the gentleman said earlier. How some of the people are feeling now, and they're feeling good about it. We want to continue that. We want to move forward with people feeling that. And if there's actions that we need to take to make sure that happens, by all means, we're going to do that.
I'll say this, then, my there's two things. Number one, you know, I've been around long enough in the business for a long time. It's awfully hard to change characteristics of an individual, especially, you know, I mean, Chief Mitchell's not old, but I mean, at his age, as long as he's been doing that, certain characteristics people have, you can't mentor, you can't change. Okay, I'm just going to say that, and I'm sure you folks are aware of it. I'll say that. But I will say this as a call for Scott. If this current leadership team is willing to give this a shot and give it a try, then I'm going to, because I trust this leadership team in this room right now.
I mean, if you want, you can ask them right now. It's up to them if they want to answer it or not.
I've already answered the answer.
We all trust each other.
Okay.
Our whole department is based on trust.
We're all brothers anyway.
We're a family. It's a dysfunctional family as much as it will be. But I'll tell you right now, as a group, all of us, we're going to get through this together. If Mitchell can't bring himself up to the table and make it work, he's going to be his own demise.
That's
but
right.
Us as a group, if we keep doing what we're doing, and we don't get caught up in the drama, and if there's drama, we let these guys know, it's going to just make things get back to normal all the more quicker. Right now, it's gonna feel really, really odd when you walk by him for the first time. It's not gonna be easy for any one of us.
Do you really think it's gonna be?
Just remember that the rest of us, it's all of us walking by him at the same time, because we're all walking together.
You don't think it's gonna be hard on him too?
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So it's a
not-
two-way street, that's all I'm saying, Bill. It's a two-way street.
Yes.
And if he doesn't wanna go down the right road, well, there's always the other road, right?
At what point did the select board have the conversation with him as what the initial plan was gonna be? When did you have the conversation with him?
After we received this report.
Executive session at the last board meeting.
Right, when we got this report. And you can see, we take it serious. I color code everything. Green is good, yellow is maybe, red
So
is
he certainly
bad.
knew about it prior to Sunday, correct?
This past Sunday, I have to say, yeah, we had it. Why, something happened this past Sunday?
Well, what my concern is, in my particular case, is the disparaging treatment continuing. Now granted, it was not at the fire department, it was not on fire department time, it was not on town time. But some things have not changed.
See, if it's something that happened to you last Sunday and we don't know about it, how could we even address it?
It's not an outside event. So how is it a board's issue to begin with?
It isn't.
It isn't.
It isn't at
Exactly.
that point in time, no.
No.
And we cannot force him to be your friend, Mike. We cannot force you to be his friend. But
But
we
you
can
would
expect
think-
we can expect you to respect each other while you're in your department. I'm
That I get.
I'm not expecting you to be a friend. No
That I
way.
get.
We can't expect that of anybody.
But the point is, if you've got someone that's trying to come back into the department and lead that department, you should really try to take some steps to make it a positive environment.
I think we have by discussing it with the leadership team and
I'm
having
not
two.
talking about the board.
We
talking about-
cannot rule personal interactions at outside events. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Mike, that's not within our purview. That's not anything we can address, okay? But the issue is, did you make an effort to go out and be nice to him too? I'm just asking. Or did he ignore you? You took that as an affront. Maybe if you had gone up to him, maybe there would have been a different interaction. I don't know. We can play the what-if scenario anytime, any place. All we're saying is, when he is sitting there in the chief's seat, and he is performing his duties as chief, we can react based upon your feedback. And I don't want to hear, oh, he didn't smile at me, oh, he didn't say good morning. That's not the stuff I'm looking for. We're looking for the stuff that, yes, he's not fulfilling his job duties as a fire chief, as the board expects him to do so.
Does the board have a set of standards that they want the chief to adhere to?
We're
And if they
relying
do-
on a meeting with the Fire Chiefs Association on Thursday to help us set those standards. And it also based upon this report, which they'll have received. Mr. Martin and I will be sitting with them, and we'll be trying to finalize it to present it to the other two board members.
Once that list of standards is completed and finalized, can that please be made available to the members of the board?
All I can say is, whatever Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 66 says can be made public, will be made.
Standards, it's public information.
Well, I'll leave it.
It's not personal information.
Okay,
It's-
I'll leave it to Mr. Martin because I'm not an expert, but if he says it can be made please,
It
fine.
may streamline frivolous issues, concentrate more on serious violations of the standards. You know, if there's a definition in place that employees have that they can visually look at and compare an issue that they feel they were aggrieved against, it would be easier for you, the select board, and the members to pen paper on it moving forward.
How would you want to address that? I don't have,
You and I will discuss that.
okay, we can do it with the fire chief.
You and I will discuss that.
Okay, that's fine. I have to say it's to be determined because I don't have an answer, I'm not gonna lie to
It's a
you.
suggestion at this point, I just
Right.
think it would help streamline information. Thank you.
Yeah.
So again, we do expect the chief to be professional, and we do expect everybody else to be professional as well, on both sides. But I also want people to feel, and I'm speaking for myself, I do want people that work for fire department to feel comfortable being there, without a doubt. Do I expect the chief to say hello to everybody that comes in the morning? I do. Because that's what I expect out of a leader.
That was my exact point.
So moving forward, that's some of the suggestions that myself would have for the chief. You know, it's moving forward, it's going to take us to do some things. And I know someone had mentioned, you know, sometimes you just can't change things that are already there. Well, if you will, the ball's in his court. So you have the opportunity to change some things. And as the board sees those things as a concern, if those things can't be changed, well, then actions will be taken. Because obviously what we're setting forward and the concerns that we have and the things that we want to be changed is because they're negatively impacting the department. And that's what we want corrected.
Can I add something to that, Glenn?
Yes.
It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
I was going to say that.
That's why I said professional.
The employees under the chief need to make an effort to say good morning also.
Absolutely.
Not just expect it from the chief. And if he doesn't say it, now we're going to fire him because he didn't say good morning. There should be an effort on both sides, as far as I'm concerned.
There's a point of being candor and professional, as simple as that. You know, and respect. And I know at times people will say, well, it might be hard for me to respect that person. Well, respect the position.
Respect the rank.
Exactly. And so if you say good morning, he says good morning to you. Bet you it makes you feel better if someone says good morning to you. I can tell you where I work, when someone acknowledges you walking by, it makes a big difference.
I think I said this in the last meeting, and I'll say it again. We've about had it with getting new fire chiefs. So making this work and getting Mitchell on board and helping him succeed at this is going to benefit all of us. Because going through the new chief thing is a royal pain in the ass. We all know it. So if we can work with him, give him the benefit of the doubt, who knows, maybe he'll come around and could be the best chief we ever had. If we all go against him, he
Start with a new slate, clean slate.
Do your best, that's all we
We all
ask.
signed up for a job.
Getting a new chief is a pain in the ass, brother, but let me tell you something. What we've gone through in the last 8 months with him is a bigger pain in the ass. So I have no problem getting a new chief if this guy is not gonna change what's been going on and what's been happening. I mean, you need a leader in this department. You need a leader for the department. We can do only so much, but at the end of the day, it has to be the individual at the top. Hiring, cultivating, developing relationships to get these people to want to commit to calls and want to work and want to cover shifts and want to do the job.
Oh, we agree.
You're absolutely right, and that's the point I was making earlier too. We're investing something in Chief Fitchett. If our investment does not pay off, then actions will be taken for the best interest of the town and the interest of the department.
The bottom line, the residents of this town deserves the protection that it has been getting, and they should be continued. Because we're speaking for the residents.
One last question, actually, this is suited for Assistant Chief Randall and Deputy Chief Bruce, Carter. Are there standard operating procedures, written rules, anywhere, rules of conduct, organic fire department, rules and regulations, SOPs?
We have basic SOPs that respond to fireground and fire station duties and activities. When you get into professional conduct, I'm going to say that those don't exist as far as I know.
Maybe it's time to write it up. And it's rules for everybody.
Yeah.
I won't disagree, in the military, we get a rule for everything.
And that's why you operate so small.
What can I say? But it moves forward. We move forward.
No, I think we've covered quite a bit tonight.
I mean, is there anything that you want more of us? We're here. I mean,
Will there be other meetings like this with us down the road, or?
We are planning on it, and that's, comes from the command staff right now. We indicated that if you want us to meet with us, not an issue. If they want to meet with us, not an issue. We'll be more than happy to meet with anybody. If you have an issue, of course, go to your command staff first. They can relay things to us, Mr. Martin, and they can relay it to us, and we're willing to work, and we're willing to listen, and we're willing to turn around. And if you want group meetings, we'll have group meetings. That's not an issue.
And I will be at the fire offices meeting at the safety complex at 6:30 PM on 10 September. That's the date you gave me, right, George?
Yes.
I will be there.
Anything
I will
else?
be there as long as they have a cup of coffee available.
I don't drink coffee, so you can get by cheap water.
He's cheap and easy. Anything else, gentlemen?
If there's not, we have other business which we have to do,
Yes.
and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Recess the meeting, please.
I gotta make a motion to recess
Make-
for 10
make a-
minutes, allow everybody to leave.
Okay, make
I
a
will
motion.
Second Glenn's motion.
Okay.
So you can cut the
All in
camera.
favor? Oh, God. Call the meeting to order again, reconvene.
At 8:02.
8:02. Make sure time is right. You are correct. You don't know if that's right. We had citizen participation in a big way tonight. We already did the Pledge of Allegiance. Minutes, we'll approve the minutes.
On the departmental reports, when we get to that one, if I can just look at the chief.
I'm gonna make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes from, August 20th, 2018.
All in favor? Aye.
Was there a second? Was there a second?
Yes,
Yeah.
there was.
I did.
Well, sorry.
He did. I said, I second it, and he said, aye. I said, yeah.
Aye, aye. We gonna read correspondence, or?
What do we have for correspondence? Let me see here. Do you want to do this? Let me do it. Okay. Correspondence, we have from the Granby, to the Granby Select Board, from Jim Tromke, Vice Chairman for the Planning Board, for a joint meeting for open Planning Board seat. The Planning Board would like to have a joint meeting with the Select Board to consider any and all residents interested in filling the vacancy for the open Planning Board seat. Sincerely, James Tromke.
Do we have anybody?
We have a Rob Chauvin who's interested in filling the seat.
Rob who?
Chauvin.
Can we maybe get a resume from him?
Yes.
For the next meeting, so we can,
That's an interesting point.
I believe Mr. Joyce has indicated in the past that he would like to see a resume of people appointed to important positions.
In his particular case, I've worked with him. But yes, standard
We won't hold
policy.
that against you.
So I do know this particular applicant, but yes, I would like a resume or somewhat, so I know the qualifications of the person before we appoint them. But I'm just letting you know on this particular one, I do know him personally because I have worked, he used to work for the same agency that I retired from. He still works for them.
So you want a resume or don't want a resume?
For Rob, I don't need one. If you guys want one, it's up to you two.
I don't need one because I know Rob.
Well, let's put it this way, if that's the case, and we have no problems, I'm taking the recommendations from both of you guys right now, that if you feel he's qualified, and, no,
He said
can't do
You
it?
have to
No?
hold a joint
Joint.
meeting
Okay,
We just,
and open the floor to
Right.
any interested candidates.
yes.
okay. You're right, I'm sorry, that is my fault.
It's okay. I'm just letting you know about the resume, that's all. Now, if there's resumes from other candidates, I would like to see them, put it that way.
You can't have it two ways. It's one way or none.
Okay, then we have resumes.
Thank you.
Okay. I was just trying to make your job a little easier.
So we want a resume now, please?
He says any and all candidates,
We
so.
can't hold a double standard.
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
any-
I know him, I don't need a resume, but yet someone else, oh, I need their resume to see if they're qualified.
I didn't know
Can't
if
do that.
anybody else was applying.
You can't do that.
I didn't know if
It's a
anybody else
double
was applying.
standard. You're not allowed to have a double standard on the Board of Selectmen. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You are right.
Thank you.
Mr. Barton.
So, it's just the minutes from the planning board, but,
They do anything important?
this is the recommendation from the bylaw, that's already been said and done. So, the last thing is a complaint from Joseph Shalou, 140 School Street. Looks like his complaint is, addition to the complaint filed with the Select Board at the August 6th meeting, attaches the info from the Grammy Bowen Gun Club, September 30th, certifier precision rifle match. Please have the code enforcement officer observe the match to see if the shooting is occurring in the expanded area, not just the shooting positions covered by the cease and desist order. Please use the supported documents attached from August 6th Select Board meeting complaint. So, there's...
How can you complain about something that hasn't occurred?
Oh, no.
The impression I got when I read it, he would like somebody to go out to the next match, like he asked to do the last one, which got voted.
Spend 9 AM to 3 PM or 1 PM watching the full event.
No, I agree with
I
that.
think you ought to just show up and see.
Do like a 10 to 2 or something like that.
Don't even give them when you show up. Just show up. Yeah,
Oh, if that's,
Show up unannounced. Just tell them, at some point during your match, I will be there.
okay.
Don't tell them it's going to be from 10 to 2, because from 10 to 2, they'll follow the rules and regs.
When I asked you that specific question in your office, you told me we have to notify them in advance.
That he will be there.
You'll be there.
Okay, the
Period.
way I took it, you said what time they had to be here.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't give them the time.
Okay.
Because then, the
They'll be
people...
prepared.
The people who are complaining will say, well, they knew you were coming, so they made sure that they were following the rules at that point in time. So, he informs them, they ask, sometime during the event, I will be on site to observe where you're shooting from, period, or what range you're using.
I have no problem with that at all, and I am not setting any time limit for the person to do his job.
And I don't think like I said, the zoning enforcement officer has to be there for the full event. He just needs to show up and observe, unannounced, at a time unannounced, but let them know that he will be on site.
Time I'm showing up.
Yes.
It's pretty easy.
And he can stay as long as he deems necessary to fulfill his job.
Yes, he can.
Which report did you have a question on, Jay, and departmental report?
Please. Chief Wisconsin.
What about it?
There was something I was going to ask about it. If you're looking back, you see I initial them all. That way it shows I've read them all.
Okay.
There was something on one of those.
Is that your initials?
No, mine's on the back.
No, it's Al Wishard's edition.
See where it says right there? See the JJ?
Oh, okay, all right.
That way, when I come in on Fridays and I see Kathy, I sit down and read all the stuff, initial it, then I can look back and see what I did and what I haven't done from the week earlier.
Well, this is the other reports, I don't know if you got the right one in your hand.
This one I haven't seen before because I haven't initialed it.
So it might be that one you were talking about.
Right. Because this one I have initialed, so this is probably the one. And no, Kathy, I'm not going to say anything about his spelling mistakes.
Please don't.
No, I'm not. I already pointed out to Kathy.
Many police officers have an issue with correct grammar and spelling. It's not a forte of theirs.
This is the part which we I say no comment.
What was that?
Yeah, I hear nothing.
Oh, yeah, this is, I remember now. On his last paragraph, when he attended the town meeting, and we still need a town meeting relative to accepting a tax law that would allow the town to charge the 3% tax. Are we going to schedule something to allow the town? Because in his report says we haven't done it.
I know we haven't done it.
Okay, I'm just bringing it up.
We have not accepted Mass General law to allow us to assess the additional tax.
Okay, I didn't know the answer, that's why I had the question.
But with everybody running to beat down the doors to open a place in Granby, I don't think we have to worry about that right away.
I haven't read this one yet.
Oh, okay.
This is, must have just come, I have an issue with it.
Yes.
Why haven't I-
Oh, that's why your phone doesn't work, huh?
Yes.
License.
It's already been approved by the board.
That's what I thought. I saw it underneath.
It's already been approved by the board. Our requirements to sign it. That is the one-day liquor license for,
Oh, it's for the, yeah.
yes. Okay.
On correspondence, we did have one from the Open Space and Parks Committee. They wanted us to comment on that plan that they're putting.
The open space plan, the update of the open space plan for the
Right.
town.
But are we, as a select board, going to comment on that, or give them a negative reply?
No comment.
Okay, that's fine, as long as you give them something.
No comment?
I gave them comments from the Energy Committee already. I didn't look at it from a select board point of contact, because I didn't know what select board was in charge of it. I did it from the energy side. I read the whole thing. I didn't see nothing where the select board was involved. Mostly conservation.
We'll make a motion that we accept the departmental reports.
I will second the motion for departmental reports.
All in favor? Aye.
We'll make a motion that we approve and sign maintenance warrants for fiscal year 19, number 12, 13, and 14.
These are just the regular salaries for the people, right?
Our salaries and bills.
Yeah.
Want to second that?
Yeah, I'll second that, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye. Do we have any appointments?
Yes, we do.
Right there, just put it upside down right there. Thank you.
You have no business, right? No business.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, we have 4 appointments, actually 5 appointments. First one is for to appoint Louis Berry to the Granby Parks Oversight Ad Hoc Committee with a term expiring June 30th, 2019. The next one is for Charter Day Committee, Dakota Richards as a voting member through June 30th, 2019. A Bridget Roy as a voting member through June 30th, 2013. And Janice Cook as an associate member through June 30th, 2019 to the Charter Day. And as a result of Mr. Gilmet leaving the town of South Hadley as their building commissioner, we now need to appoint the new individual. His name is David Gardner, and we are appointing him as the Granby Building Commissioner to replace Mr. Gilmet, who left the services at South Hadley. And that will be through June 30th, 2019.
I'll make a motion that we affirm the appointments as read by Chris Martin.
I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Common vic licenses. I guess,
It's just one.
okay. We have one common vic license is for Holyoke Hummus Company, 16 Carroll Lane, Holyoke, Mass. 01040. It's for the town of Granby Red Fire Farm. It's a common vic license. I'll make a motion that we approve the license for Holyoke Hummus Company to operate the town of Granby Red Fire Farm until it expires December 31st, 2018, or unless sooner suspended or revoked for violations of the laws of Commonwealth respecting licensing of the common vic licenses.
I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. You, sir?
Anything else?
I just wanted to go over the fire chief position. Trying to set up a meeting between Jay, myself, the FCAM mentor, and Chief Mitchell to try and establish the benchmarks that we want the chief to adhere to. Do you also want us to discuss standards of conduct? Do you want us to address any other issues with the mentor and the fire chief while we are sitting there?
I can't think of anything offhand myself.
You are going to address the standards of conduct?
Do you want me to address standards of
Yes.
conduct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
You can let me know. I just put it down from 12 PM to 4 PM on Thursday.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to have you include you on the stream.
Oh, okay. I'm just booking it out on the calendar.
Okay. All right.
One other thing I want to address with him as well is proper documentation and timely documentation.
Yes. Quite good.
And to address Mr. Leary's comment, we are not rewriting strong chief law from the legislature. What we are doing is agreeing inside the chief's contract to modify the strong chief duties that are allowed or not allowed for continued appointment as the strong chief for the Granby Fire Department. That's all we are addressing. And if everything goes well and he continues, then yes, he will have strong chief capabilities. So.
When does this contract expire?
His contract would expire, let's see, that was February of last year. This was 17, 18, 19, 20, June 30th, 2020. Any other issues? And before we finalize the document to be signed by all parties, I would like the board to be able to review it to see if there's any issues, other issues that you would want to. Unless the liaison wants to present it to the two board members.
It's entirely up to him. One thing I'd like to
If they're like me, I like to review stuff before I get it.
Okay. One thing I do want moving forward as well, and just kind of bring up to the board, and not just with the chief, but each department head throughout the town, that we have a performance evaluation done on them each year.
I thought Mr. Martin did that on a yearly basis already.
I mean, I guess as a board, we could actually create something as what we want used as a performance evaluation.
I would rather use something different than what's out there.
Okay.
It doesn't really give you a good enough breadth of what they should or should not be doing. You know?
And we can make it so it fits what we need.
Okay. If you want, I'll forward you what has been used in the past.
Okay.
And just so you can see.
That's it.
Nothing else.
Okay. I'll make a motion and we adjourn.
I will second your motion to
All
go
in-
have ice cream.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.